Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with another episode of a Working Title Podcast. The Working Title Podcast. A Working Title review, interview, things like that. You feel me? I am here with the one and only Dexy of Dexter.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we here, just to talk about everything she do. She's a super creative person. I'm just excited to have this conversation with her. So let's just introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Dexter. I do fashion design, women's wear, menswear.
Okay. And before you even got into all this, what were your interests? How did you end up getting to wanting to be in a fashion design?
Well, it's a long, low route. So I guess originally I used to want to model.
Okay.
Funny enough. So I used to really want to be into modeling and stuff like that, but it was I'm short. I'm really short. So that was never gonna work out. And then I was into photography. I took AP photography in high school. So that was I was always kind of trying to find my place in it all. And then it was a point in time I was getting paid to distress and bleach jeans. So it was almost it was winding up to the point where it's okay,
right.
It's going to inevitably be fashion. And then I said, I've always hand sewn and shit. So
yeah, of course.
So I was I was always hand sewing and stuff like that. And then I got a sewing machine. And after I got a sewing machine, I just was sewing. Okay. Pretty much, but yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So, you was into sewing, things like that. You actually, you spent some time in a quote unquote fashion capital, right? Mm-hmm. You spent some time in New York. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us how you made that decision to go there? What was it like? Things like that.
Well, I come from, Baltimore City, West Baltimore. So that was low key waffling. I never really expected to get into the school because of where I come from. A lot of people don't go there, for being real. So it's
And what school was it?
It was Parsons School for Design. It's the number one fashion school in the U.S. So it was I applied 4 times before I got in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but I wanted to go bad. So he was going to take me regardless of what. They was going to take me. So after I think the 3rd time, I applied, but I realized I was applying wrong this whole time. So I was spending hella money just applying, but I was applying wrong. And then I applied one time I didn't tell nobody, because I kept telling people oh, I'm applying and I wasn't getting in. That was embarrassing. You feel me? It's
I
damn.
I get it.
So after a while I was you know what, I'm gonna just apply, do my little project or whatever, but I'm not gonna tell nobody. And the one time I didn't tell nobody, I got in. So yeah.
And then, so you were there, what was it like? Was it a culture shock?
It was a big culture shock, super diverse. It was not growing up in Baltimore is predominantly black. Mm-hmm. So it was mostly every other race, pretty much. Right. Every other race. I could probably count on one hand how many black people was even in my classes. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah, so it was a super culture shock. And then a lot of them, it's a private school. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them were rich kids that are just doing this just because they just here for a hobby. And I'm here because this is this shit better work. Right. So it's it was definitely a culture shock.
Okay. Was it anything there's, I'm sure you learned hella things, but is it anything that really stuck out that you really that really stuck with you that you brought down to when you came back to Baltimore?
Yeah, I think the only thing, well, not the only thing, but I think the thing that really stuck was how hard I had to work. I had teachers that were really, really hard on me. And it's okay, everybody, here is different. When you first come and stuff, you're I have these disadvantages and stuff. People should cut me slack, shit like that. No, they did not care about none of that. You're going to sew, and if you don't, you're going to fail.
Right.
And I had actually had a conversation like that with one of my teachers, and she was pushing me so hard to the point where I just used to cry, literally cry. Have you ever seen the movie Whiplash?
Yes.
Exactly. It was like that. It was intense. It was so intense, and it was working crazy hard every day. I'm up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, got 10 a.m. classes. Yeah, so it's working that kind of hard, it really don't leave you.
Right.
That's low key you'll never go anywhere without having to work that hard again. It's kind of crazy.
So getting to know you is very comical because you have such a unique taste. Even just now to referencing Whiplash, not a lot of people have seen that movie.
I know, but that's such a good movie.
I love that movie. And the acting in it is A1.
Yeah, it is.
So things like that where you know, your movie taste, your music taste, you know, how does that like affect your fashion? Because when like I talked to you before, I asked about like your favorite like albums or artists or your favorite movies, and it's things like, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, things like that. Can you like talk about how you incorporate that into your art?
Well, I'm just extremely passionate. You know, like I have a tattoo right here. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm like super passionate.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the movies that I watch and love, like all of them low key like show extreme passion to some extent. You know what I mean? Like whether it's like The Fifth Element or Charlie and Chocolate Factory, like they were all extremely, even in Whiplash, like you had to be passionate to get through it. So I feel like that is like the major, like my major foundation. Like everything I do, if I'm not passionate about it, it probably is not going to work out because I have to be obsessed with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you came back from Parsons, what year was that?
20. So I lived in New York after Parsons for like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
For like a year and a half, 2 years. I lived in what was that? What part of New York was that?
Okay, well, you lived in New York. It's all good.
It was like I lived in 2 parts of Brooklyn.
Okay.
The first one, I can't remember the name. I don't know why. But then I lived in, no, not Brownsville. It was Flatbush. I lived in Flatbush. So at first I was living in Manhattan on campus. Then I moved to Flatbush, and then I moved to Bedford-Stuyvesant. So I lived, you know, mostly in Brooklyn, and then from there, because I was like doing a lot of internships, like with Alexander Wang. I did an internship with Luar, which was like my favorite. So I was like kind of in them streets for real. So after that, that was like 2019 for real.
Wow. Okay.
Like, or maybe like 2019.
Okay.
Going on 20, but that was like after that COVID pretty much hit.
Right.
So
when you were, you know, doing these internships, what was that like? Because you said the Alexander Wang one was your favorite. You know, what was
the Luar one was my favorite.
Apologies, the Luar one was your favorite. What was that? You know.
So that one was a little different because it was like he has like a really like fine like taste. Like he's so different from any other designers. Like, and I think that was the first time I had like responsibilities. So it was like I'm up 7 a.m. in the garment district. You know, and I think he put me onto a lot of shit. Like from like I had my first manufacturing job by working with him. Like I met, you know, a manufacturer that he got his clothes made by, and he offered me a job.
Oh wow!
Remind you, I was up there with no job.
Damn.
You feel me?
Passion.
That shit wasn't gonna work, but for so long though. So I was like, he offered me a job. I was getting paid under the table, making clothes in the garment district. So I took the job, but then me taking that job, it ended up not working out with Luar because I had to work.
Yeah.
So, but I think like I met a lot of people. He took me to a lot of shows, like even connecting me with so many people. Like I actually worked with Solange from Luar. She told me I was like beautiful. I had beautiful skin. Like that's a compliment I'll never get over. So he definitely connected me to like so many people.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Okay. And I kind of noticed like if you scroll your Instagram page, you have like several like celebrities or influencers like, you know, wearing your work and things like that. So I feel like that's a great feeling to have for sure.
Yeah, it is. But I feel like so when it came to like obviously like working like with Luar and stuff, it was like I was doing that like for him.
Right.
So it was different from like working and doing it for myself.
Gotcha.
I feel like when it came to Dexter and stuff, it honestly kind of took off so fast that I couldn't even keep up with people that was wearing my shit. Like, it was sometimes I would wake up, people tagging me and stuff. I wasn't tagged in originally, and I'm like, damn, they wore my stuff. I didn't even know. And then it's, you know, so many people, like SZA, Mariah the Scientist, she had me on one of her covers for, like, a festival, you know, stuff like that. But it's like I didn't find out till
after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk more about the actual Dexter brand. When did that start?
2019.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. So like right before COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what had happened was, you know, I was working at what is it, like a consignment shop. So I had 2 jobs. I was working at Uptown Cheapskate, and then I was working at Michael's.
Okay.
But Michael's was like part-time, but I wasn't gonna let the job go because it was like I was able to get hella shit to make clothes for real. Like all of the little things like that I could pay for. I had like a 30% discount. Like I'm not letting that go.
Right.
So basically I was working both of them, and once COVID started to hit, it was like nobody had a job pretty much. Like we was all home. But everybody was getting like unemployment and stuff like that because we was all sitting home. So now that I have nothing but time and money, we might as well jump all in. What else am I gonna do? So at first I started just was like mesh dresses, and that just people actually bought them, and I was shocked. And then after that, I think I had like this photographer who I was with, like she we was like locked in, so it was like everything I did, she was shooting with me, like you know, we was like a team. So it was like if I say text her right now, like, oh, I just made this whoop de whoop, I want to shoot, we shooting the next day, like we had it like that. So it was like once that worked out, I think I ended up making that lava collection, and that's when everything just everything kind of just took off fast.
So you credit the lava collection specifically as like
absolutely
your jump off point?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what do you think about the lava collection like really like garnered so many eyes?
I think it's because it's just so different. Like even for me, I still look back like, you know, like I don't know where I pulled that from. I'm not even gonna lie, like, because it was like I had like so many different pieces. Like it's still so many lava pieces that I made that didn't even make the cut. But it was just like a couple colors. Like the colors I went to when I was going to school, I had a color theory class, so it was like I knew what colors to put together to give like a wow effect. Right. So when it worked out, it was like, and then we had the photography outside off the green. So it just all kind of like, it all just kind of like worked out. It kind of fell into place, but I think. Yeah, like once everything kind of like we got the photos out and, people just started going crazy about it. Okay. It was shocking.
For sure. So, like something I noticed with all these conversations that we're having is you're really like, you're taking everything that you learned and incorporating it. It's not like you went up there just to say, I went to fashion school, I know everything. Like,
yeah, absolutely not.
You really apply like things that you learned.
And I'm still learning.
Right. And so what's that like? Because in this industry, it's people who have done less than you who think they're above others because...
it was never like that for me. So it was like everything that I've done, I had to like really work hard for. So, when you work for something, you really appreciate it way more. So it was like that kind of like played a big part. And then it's like I'm always a student first. You know what I'm saying? So it's like no matter how much I've learned, I'm still learning. I'm going back to school to learn more. And I feel like that's the only way to get ahead. Like if you feel like you can't learn no more, you're not teachable, that's not leadership.
Right. Okay. Something I noticed like when I was studying for this is your consistency, right? We've saw during COVID or even like right before COVID, a lot of like businesses came up and they stopped.
It's hard though. I ain't gonna lie.
I know.
That's just hard. I ain't gonna lie. It's really hard. But like I said, that passion. I feel like if you really love something, it don't matter what you try to do. You're going to always end up back to what you love. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like that might play a big part too. Like I didn't just jump into this because I'm just like, oh, I like making clothes because I'm bored and I want money, Right. I feel like I was born to do this. Right. So it's like no matter what other field I try to jump in, I'm going to somehow always be 360 back to this.
Okay. So let's talk about, you're dropping your men's line. Why'd you decide at this time of your career, this is a good time to do menswear?
Because I feel like I've done a lot. I had a lot of success with women's wear, I'll say. But I feel like I'm more passionate about menswear. Like I started, in Baltimore. The first person I dressed was Al Rogers.
Fire.
Yeah. So it was like I started kind of, doing menswear for real. So it was like, I feel like it's honestly just time. Like I feel like I'm more developed now enough to kind of know what I'm doing and how to like move in these rooms of menswear. I feel like women's wear is, I still am probably gonna, continue to do it obviously, but it's like I feel like I'm really ready. Like, I'm finally ready.
Okay. And so what are like some of the pieces you're going to drop with your menswear line?
Well, some of the stuff that's like dropping is like it's a lot of like bottoms, pants, tops, jackets, stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to like outerwear. Like that's like
something.
That's my thing.
Something
there.
You mentioned before was you said tearaway pants. Can you want to talk about why that? Because I love that idea. I love.
See, this is you guys saying. So I told you I'm Jamaican.
Right.
So if you go look at like Jamaican culture from like the 90s, stuff like that. That's the vibes. Right. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like super inspired by that. It's like black futurism in a sense. So it's like, I feel like it's kind of like a no-brainer. And I feel like I'm really in tune with what people are not doing. Okay. Who's doing that?
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, so I feel like that's how you gotta, and I think another thing is people shy away from stuff because of trends. Like I'm not trendy. I made, the cutout shit trendy, but I'm not trendy. You get what I'm saying?
I get it. Okay. So not even just your menswear. What else like are you working on, or that fans can look forward to?
Well, I actually, attached to the menswear line, I'm doing this like little magazine that I'm super excited for. But it's not like an average, like, oh, I'm just gonna shoot some photos. Like every time somebody purchase anything from mine, it's gonna be called Carbon Copy. Super cute and cool. But I'm gonna have like a bunch of other designers in the book.
Oh, that's tough.
So every time somebody buys anything from the menswear line, we sending the book out.
Oh, that's hard.
You feel me? So it's like I feel like that's like I owe that to my peers in my city.
That's
you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's just hard. So I feel like that also puts me and other people in position.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like this is what's going on in my city. You feel me? Like because a lot of people haven't reached or even got out to the the crowd that I've gotten out to. So it's like, and I never know who's buying from me. I find out when they post on Instagram.
Right.
So it's like if I could send out a magazine and I'm like, oh, this is this designer, this is what they have in my city, this is their website, lock in.
Okay.
That gives me and everybody else an advantage.
That's tough. And like, what made you want to do that to like help elevate others as well as while you're doing your own thing? Because not a lot of people have that same mindset.
Because I feel like it's enough for everybody. Like obviously I'm not the only one. But I feel like I feel like the city in general is like underprivileged, like underdeveloped, stuff like that. So it's like nobody's going to do it for us. We can't just be like, oh, we want all of this stuff to work out and stuff like that. And nobody's actually doing it. So I feel like that's a big part of it.
I agree. What else? Because I know something. I don't know. You know what I mean? You working on something not just for the menswear line.
Yeah. I'm doing spring summer for the women's wear. It's so exciting. It's gonna be a lot of stuff. I'm trying to do some. I don't want to say too much because it's in the works, but I'm definitely. It's gonna be some shockers in there.
Yeah.
I will say it's gonna be a show. So expect if you know me, expect some invites. They're going out.
So with your your promotion, you're heavy into the actual aspect of making it feel important. It's not like you just go somewhere, you're like, all right, take this picture and just show your shirt and we're good. Like you really it's a whole process behind that. What's the importance of making the pieces or the art feel important?
It's probably just like I said, I was doing photography for a long time. So I feel like editorials is how you can that's how you really center clothes. Like a lot of people can just wear clothes and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, but you do an editorial, pull it all together. It's like a music video. If a song is good, you see the music video, and it's even better. You're hooked. It's like, okay, I'm convinced now. You know what I mean? So it's just like that.
All right, so let's let the audience get to know you personally a little bit more. What do you do outside of anything clothing related? So you can't say you sew in your free time.
So what do I do? That's really all I do. I don't know. Like I do feel like once I get like older and shit, like I always had a passion for baking. Like I want to start a little bakery.
That's fine.
I really love baking. Like I used to like watch like Carlos Bakery all day.
Okay.
Funny enough. So
what about some of your favorite movies? We already know Fifth Element. We know Charlie and Chocolate
Factory. I'm really a movie girl, so I don't even. Let me think.
Do a list of your top 10.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look up because I really do. I really got hella movies I be watching.
She's pulling
it up.
Absolutely.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull up one movie and see if any of them like I love.
Okay. I know she's also like talking to her. You'll see like her fashion sense and everything is kind of not influenced by it, but maybe had some influence from like Avril Lavigne. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. She has music taste is not just rap and R&B. She has dance hall inspiration as well. A little more edgy. She got some pop, some rock in there as well.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So another one I love Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Let's see. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. You ever seen that?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh, you have to watch that. Y'all be lacking.
It's called what?
Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. It's like he had like a magical like toy shop.
It's like Disney like type movie. I'm not. I'm asking.
Like, yeah, it's like real like it's obviously inspired by it's like a little kid in the movie pretty much. Yeah.
Got you. Have you heard of that? Okay.
Corpse Bride. Y'all seen that, right?
Nah.
You ain't see Corpse Bride?
I'll be.
Let's keep going. Probably like Harry Potter. I used to watch that. My mother is obsessed with that, so I really had no choice with that one.
Absolutely.
Let's hold up. I'm about to go.
What about some of your sci-fi?
That's what I'm about to pull up. Hold up. I got you. Trust me.
Got you. You also, so I did notice, with your clothes, you also let that, like the sci-fi aspect kind of incorporate into it as well, with like the multi-colors, things like that.
Hold on. It's like not trying to pull it up for me. All right, here we go. Have you seen Jumper?
Yeah, I like Jumper. I like Jumper.
Let's see. I like Constantine. You seen
With Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Yep.
Men in Black, all three. Mm-hmm. The best.
I didn't really like the third one, but
you didn't like the third one?
Nah.
That's the best one with the Andy Warhol scene.
You think so?
Yes. I feel like it was like different because they had like the whole, I'm like in the futuristic, so it's like, Andy Warhol, y'all killed that.
I'm a big fan of the first two.
I like Mars Attack.
I've never seen Mars Attack. I've seen like the trailers and the posters for it, but I've never actually seen the movie.
You seen Armageddon?
Yes, I've seen Armageddon.
You like Armageddon?
I did.
Let's see what else.
Let's
So you're not trying to pop up today.
It's all good.
But yeah, I feel like that's a good number, I guess. Okay. You could say.
Absolutely. So for everybody who isn't familiar, where can they find you? Where can they find your work? Instagram, Twitter, website.
So you can find us on Instagram at dexter.us, DEXTER.US, and then you can, click on the website, itsfordexter.com, ITSFORDEXTER.com.
So letting y'all know right now, it's hard. The shit's fire. It's not just hard for women, it's hard for men. I'm about to cop a shirt that I already had my eye on. Yeah. Fellas, get something for your girl. Your girl gets something for your fella. You know what I mean?
Let's get into it, y'all. We're going to take over the whole world. I'm carrying my city on my back, so.
I like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming through the work entitled. Absolutely.
I love this.
Yep. And we'll catch y'all next time.